Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Coder. I'm Chris, and today we are going to do an episode on enhancing some of our graphics, I guess you would call them. We have pretty much, if we play the game, we've got pretty much a working game, almost. We still have to worry about keeping score and stuff, but our ghosts are moving. They still can't get Pac-Man. Well, they can chase him, but they can't harm him in any way whatsoever. But as you'll realize that our Pac-Man has a nice animation for eating the pellets across the screen. But our ghosts, they're just kind of always looking to the right, and they don't really have any animation, so they just kind of look boring, right? So what we're gonna do in this tutorial is we're gonna animate all these ghosts. Okay, so at first I thought about creating all these animations and then exporting an asset that you guys can just import, but that would take all of the fun out of doing it yourself, right? And then I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll create all the graphics, okay, which I've done. I've created. There are. Because the ghosts move up, down, left, and right, their eyeballs follow the direction of their movement. So we have to have, first of all, 4 graphics for each ghost, okay, that have up, down, left, and right graphics. And then for the animations, there have to be another another graphic for each ghost. So for each ghost and movement, we have to have 2 graphics. So what that ends up being is 8 graphics per ghost. So we've got 32 graphics total to take care of all of our ghosts, okay, for animating and everything else. Later on, in another tutorial, we're going to also add in the animations for when the ghosts are in scared mode when Pac-Man eats one of the big pellets. But for now, all we're going to do is we're going to animate our ghosts to make them look more lively. So what we're going to do here is first let's work on some structure. We've got a graphics folder, and in here we're going to create a folder, and we're going to name it Ghosts. And we are also going to, in our animations folder, create a folder and name that Ghosts. And in here we're going to create a folder for Blinky, Clyde, Inky, and Pinky. So that we don't have a whole folder just of animations and that they're all kind of just, properly organized. Okay, so to make life easier. Alright, so now that we've got our folder structure, the first thing we need to do is we need to import our ghost graphics. And you'll be able to download those. There'll be a link down below in the description. So I'm going to just go ahead, and you'll have a folder when you download. You'll have a folder named Ghosts. And in that Ghosts folder, you'll have a Blinky, Clyde, Inky, and Pinky folder. And what you'll do is I'll just drag it over. This is what the folder structure looks like. And you're just going to basically grab these, all of them, highlight them, and then drag them into Unity in here. And that'll create 4 folders for us, and we'll have, in each of the folders, we'll have Blinky's, Clyde's, Inky's, and Pinky's graphics. Okay? So, next thing we need to do is we need to adjust the properties of each of these. Okay? So to make things easier, we are just going to select the first, press the Shift button, select the last ghost, and then go pixels per unit, change that to 16, and change the filter mode to point. Press Apply, and then go down to the next folder for Clyde. Same thing, select the first one, hold down Shift, click the last one, 16, and point, Apply. Same thing for Inky, 16, and point for the filter mode, Apply. And finally we'll do Pinky, 16 pixels per unit, and point for the filter mode, and apply. Alright, so now all of our graphics are pretty much prepared. Now we have to create the animations. And like I said, I was going to do this at first for you guys and just let you import an asset that I would export from these. But instead, I'm going to teach you how to do these animations yourself. They're really, really simple. So the first thing we need is we're going to need an animation window. Okay, so that's probably not up on Unity for you, so you can go to Window and then click Animation. And what that'll do is it'll add the animation window probably in the same place where you've got all these other tabs. Okay, so what we'll want to do is to make things easier is we'll take the animation window and just kind of drag it down here so that we've still got our scene view and our animation view. Okay, so the way that I like to create these is very simple. Is we take the image, okay, so we've got Blinky down, and that's Blinky down 1, Blinky down 2, Blinky left 1, Blinky left 2, Blinky right 1, Blinky right 2, Blinky up 1, and Blinky up 2. So we'll take the first, so Blinky down 1, I'm going to drag it into our hierarchy. That in turn puts it into our scene. Select transform, let's move that out of the way a little bit, okay, over here. And what we'll do is, with Blinky down 1 selected, you'll see in our animation window, we have this create button. Okay, so to begin animating Blinky down 1, create an animator and an animation clip. So we'll just click create. And then it asks us where we want to put it. Well, we want to put it in our folders that we created. So we're going to go scroll to the left here. If you're on a Mac, if you're on Windows, this probably looks a little different. So we'll go into the animations folder. So we're in Assets, Animations, Ghosts, and since we're working with Blinky, we'll select the Blinky folder. And then for Save As, we'll call this one Blinky _ down, and we'll just click Save. Alright, so now what that's done is it's created an animation. Alright, so if we go into our Animations folder, and we go to Blinky, we'll see that it created a Blinky down animation clip and a Blinky down animator controller. Okay, don't worry about what this does. I don't really need to get into explaining this, but basically this makes the animation and this makes the animation work. Okay, so now that we've got, let's go back into our Ghosts Blinky folder under graphics. Now that we've got this animation created, we can add a property to our animation. And what we'll do is we'll go into Sprite Renderer and we'll select Sprite. Okay, so we're going to add a Sprite property because that's the property we're going to want to modify in our animation. So we'll click the plus button. And then what that'll do is it'll create us an animation clip with the first frame starting at 0 and the last frame starting at 1 second. Okay, so this basically, if we played the animation right now, would do absolutely nothing because it would just repeat this first graphic. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to insert Blinky down 2 into this timeline. Okay, and where we're going to put it is we're going to put it right at 12, so at 12 frames. And then we're going to take this last frame here and we're going to move it all the way to 24. Alright, so now what will happen is when we play the animation is at frame 0 it's going to just do nothing until it gets to frame 12. Then it's going to switch to this graphic and stay at this graphic until it gets to frame 24 and switch back to that graphic. The reason that we're not just going back and forth from 1 to 2 is it'll just blink. It'll be at this one, and then it'll go here, and then it'll shortly blink here at this frame, and then start back over at 0 and go right back to this frame. So we need a certain amount of time for this frame to show before it goes back to that frame. Okay, hope that makes sense. So if we play this now, you'll see that Blinky is actually animated, and what I'll do is I'll zoom in a little bit so that you guys can see. Alright, so as this slider is going through the animation, it's basically just going through these images. Alright, so we've got this animation of Blinky now, and that'll be his down graphic animation that will play when Blinky's going downwards. And we're going to add all that in just a little bit. So now what we need to do, that we've got this animation created, we need to create the left animation. So same thing here is we're going to take the left, we're just going to drag it into the hierarchy, and that popped up over here. So we're going to move that and click create, and it's already at the right folder. So we're going to call this one Blinky Left. Click save, add property, sprite renderer, plus next to sprite. Okay. We're going to insert our second image, Blinky Left 2, and then we need to add and move that to 12, frame 12, and then we'll move this one to frame 24. And the reason I picked frame 12 and 24 is because those are the frames that actually look like that's the right kind of speed for animation. If we wanted to make it appear like it was going faster, we could just move this down to like 8 and then 16. And then if we press play, you'll see that it looks like it's moving a little faster. But I kind of like them at 12 and 24. It looks right to me. Okay? You guys can choose whatever you want. Alright, so now that we've got left created, we'll go ahead and take the right one, drag them to the hierarchy, move them over a little bit, and click create. And we'll call this one Blinky Right. And click save. Add property, sprite renderer, sprite, insert our second image, Blinky Right, and I already had it in the right spot, so we just need to move this one to 24, test it, looks good, and now we're going to make Blinky Up 1, or sorry, Blinky Up, use Blinky Up 1 image, alright, with it selected, click create, Blinky Up, save, add property, sprite renderer, sprite, and select our second image, put it at 12, move this one to 24, test it, and it looks good. Alright, so now that we've got all the Blinky animations created, alright, all we have to do is we're going to just delete these from the hierarchy because we don't want the animations there. So we'll delete them. Alright, so if we go into our ghosts folder now into Blinky, we'll see that all these animator controllers and all these animations are created. So what I'm going to go ahead and do before we move on is I'm going to go ahead and create the animations for Clyde, Inky, and Pinky. So same thing, Clyde, I'm just going to select the first image, create sprite property, add sprite renderer, and add its second image, put it at 12 and 24. And just so on. Alright, so you guys do me a favor. I'm just going to fast forward through this really quick. I'm going to create all these animations, fast forward, and then we'll go ahead and resume what we were doing. Alright, so here I go. Alright, so now with all the animations and animator controllers created, and all of them removed from the hierarchy, okay? So we can actually close this animation window now. So we're going to close tab, get that out of our way, get this back on track here so we can see our game. Okay, so we've got everything we need now in order to animate these ghosts, okay? And animating them is going to be a lot easier than you actually think it is. So I'm going to show you what we need to do is we need to actually go into scripts and we need to open up the ghost script. Alright, and in the ghost script we're going to create some variables. And these are going to be public so that we can access them in the inspector. And we are going to, so they're going to be public, and they're going to be of type animator, animator controller, runtime animator controller. Okay, so runtime animator controller is a reference to the runtime animator controller so that we can change our animator controller during the game's runtime. Okay, so simple enough. We're going to create runtime animator controller, and we're going to just call this ghost up, and we're going to create another one called ghost down, another one runtime animator controller ghost left, and runtime animator controller ghost right. Alright, so now since these are public, and since they're animator controllers, I'm pretty sure that you guys can guess what we're going to do next is we're going to assign all of these for the ghosts. So let's go back into Unity, and first up we'll select our red ghost, which is Blinky, and you'll see we have these new properties in our inspector for ghost up, ghost down, ghost left, and ghost right. Okay, so, and this is going to take an animator controller object. So we're going to, with our red ghost selected, Blinky, we're going to go into our ghosts under animations. So assets, animations, ghosts, we're going to go into the Blinky folder. And what we want to select here is not the animation clips themselves, okay? We want the animator controllers, okay? That's the one with the 3 boxes and the triangle. So we need ghost up, down, left, and right. So we've got Blinky down. We're going to drag that into ghost down. And we've got Blinky left. We're going to drag that over to ghost left. And we've got Blinky right, which goes into ghost right. And then we've got Blinky up, which goes in the ghost up. Okay? Now, there is another way to do this, and it might be a little easier. And we'll do this with the pink ghost. All right. So that's Pinky. So instead of dragging, we're going to select. We're going to use this little round button right here. We're going to click on that, and there is okay. So instead of being on scene, we got to make sure that we're not in a scene tab. We have to be in the assets tab. So here's all of our animator controllers, and we've just clicked on ghost up. So we're going to need to select here Pinky up. Same thing here. That's Pinky down. Pinky left. And Pinky right. Okay. The blue ghost, that's Inky. So we're going to select for ghost up, we're going to select Inky up. For ghost down, we're going to select Inky down. Ghost left is going to be Inky left. And ghost right is going to be Inky right. And we've got the orange ghost, which of course is Clyde. So for ghost up, we're going to select Clyde up. For ghost down, we're going to select Clyde down. For ghost right, we're going to select Clyde right. And finally, oops, for ghost left, we're going to select Clyde left. And finally, for ghost right, we're going to select Clyde right. Okay, so Clyde right. Alright. So now, when we press play, still no animations. But we're going to fix that right now. We're going to go back to our scripts, launch our ghost script here, and we are going to create a method, and we're going to call this, we're going to make it a void, and we're going to call this update animator controller. It's not going to take any parameters. And we are going to have to call this method first in the start method to set the initial animator controller for the ghost. So update animator controller. And then, let's see what else. We need to call it probably in the move section, right? So, because we don't want to update our animator controller at every single frame, we only want to update our animator controller when the ghost is actually changing direction. And the ghost changes direction when he overshoots the target. So when he overshoots his target, okay, that's when we're going to say we want to update our animation. So animator controller, oops, update animator controller. And in the method itself, in order to update the animation, we have to know which direction the ghost is going in. And this is very, very simple. Because we already have a direction variable that we're keeping track of, all we have to do is say if direction equals vector2 dot up, okay? Else if direction equals vector2 dot down. Else if direction equals vector2 dot left. Else if direction equals vector2 dot right. Okay, so here are all of our conditions, and now we just need to fill those in. And what we'll do is we'll get the animator. Oh, sorry. We'll get the animator component from our transform, which is our ghost. So we'll say animator. And then we're going to get the runtime animator controller property of the animator. And we're going to set that equal to ghost up for this one. And I'm just going to highlight and copy and paste. And we're going to set this one to ghost down. Oops. Ghost down. And we're going to set this one to ghost left. And this one to ghost right. There we go. Oh, and for any other state of direction, so if it's like vector 2.0, for instance, we're going to set a default of ghost left, just if our ghosts aren't moving at all, which is only if they're in the ghost house. So they'll be looking left in the ghost house. And that is it. That should animate all of our ghosts. So we've got that saved. Go into Unity, press play, and our ghosts are not animating. And that is probably because we didn't assign an animator controller to our ghosts. So we're going to go in here, add component, animator. Same thing for the pink ghost, add component, animator, oops, not animation. Animator, blue ghost, add component, animator, orange ghost, add component, animator. Alright, now let's do this again. And there we go. See how they're all animated? Hey. All of our ghosts are animated. It looks so cool. It looks so much better, right? Must be in scatter mode. Because they're not chasing me. They are now. They're coming after me. And yes, they are coming after me. I don't know why I'm pretending like they're actually going to kill me if they catch me. I guess it's just more fun that way. Well. Whoa, I would have died there. Almost, maybe. Oh, that would be the end of my life. Okay. Anyway, so, that's it for animation. I mean, I guess that was pretty simple. The part that really sucked for me is having to actually draw all of these ghosts. So that took a little bit of time, but hey, there you go. There you have it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave comments down below. If you like the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. We are moving right along with our subscribers. We're almost at 600, which is awesome. Thank you guys, by the way, for supporting the Weekly Coder, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.